I'd like to thank Tracy Hagee-Kelly, Select Customer Sales Rep for the Hartford, and Michelle Davis, Agency Education Consultant at the Hartford, for presenting and making themselves available for questions during and after the webinar. So I'd like to change presenters to Michelle and welcome Michelle aboard.
Thank you, Dwight. Can you hear me okay on your end?
Yes, you're coming in loud and clear.
Great, perfect. And I think I just took control here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can everybody see my screen as well?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that great introduction. I'm Michelle Davis with Hartford's Agency Education and Consulting team. I also have Tracy on the line with us, who will be helping with Q&A at the end. We facilitate training sessions across the country with our MGA partners and agents. So I'm excited today to be going over our auto differentiators. Our whole goal of this session, Learning Burst, is really to help you understand the key differentiators with Hartford's product out there so you can sell more auto policies. So let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to explore how commercial auto policy really benefits your clients and helps differentiate you in the crowded marketplace with Hartford's key product differentiators. We're going to review appetite, and then we're also going to go over Hartford's total account solution. Not only do we write auto, but we also write workers' comp and spectrum as well too. The great thing is we can write any of those lines, monoline. So the Hartford understands the needs of small business owners better than any other insurance company. After all, we have over 1 million of them. In addition, we are the largest writer of small commercial in the country. Our customers can drive with confidence knowing that we have worked hard to build and will be protected as well too. So our broad appetite for commercial auto along with our innovative coverage means that you can really differentiate yourself in a crowded marketplace by offering your small business customer the best option for their commercial auto needs. The Hartford's business auto can be written monoline or part of a total account solution with our Spectrum business owners policy and workers' compensation. We offer coverage for fleets under 25 units, and if there are more than 25, we'll actually consider it with the auto account if it's also written with a Spectrum workers' comp and Spectrum. We are also open to writing trucks. We can do heavy and extra heavy, as well as light or medium weight trucks with attached specialized equipment. For extra heavy, we just cannot have more than 50% of the vehicles extra heavy and have a maximum of 6 vehicles for those extra heavy accounts. Also, where other carriers are kind of shying away from auto policies with less than 3 to 5 vehicles, we're still writing even single vehicle policies. We can also do monoline, where you're not able to write, GL workers' comp for certain lines. We'll be able to write them for monoline. So a good example is that we'd be able to write a roofer or a general contractor for auto, where we might not be able to write for GL or workers' comp. If you attended one of our sessions most recently that we did last month, we went over in detail our appetite and our top 10 industry segments. But there are a couple things to kind of avoid. So we don't have an appetite for 100% delivery, and we're not a market for limousines and taxis. We generally don't write livery. So we don't handle any risks in which where a business is transferring other people's stuff, essentially. Every new commercial auto policy includes our broad form coverage with no additional charge. So our broad form adds in 19 coverages in the auto policy. Quite a few, just at no additional cost. We throw that into our broad form. But let's review a couple of them. Now, these are the types of coverages that can really help close a sale. First, loan gap coverage. When a financed vehicle is declared a total loss and your insured's outstanding loan balance is greater than the actual cost value of the vehicle, the Hartford will pay the difference between the outstanding loan balance and the actual cash value of the vehicle. Because the form already contains lease gap coverage, your customer are also covered where they purchased or leased the vehicle. We also have electronic equipment coverage. This provides coverage for installed electronic equipment that is either permanently installed and powered by the vehicle's electronic system, necessary for the normal operations or monitoring of the operating systems, or used to transmit or receive audio, visual, or data signals. And in addition, we do not require that this equipment be OEM or dealer installed. Great coverage that's already built in. We also offer hired auto physical damage. If comprehensive specifies causes of loss or collision coverages are provided, then Hartford extends physical damage coverage to hired autos. If your customer rents a vehicle and the vehicle is damaged, the Hartford provides coverage in excess of the driver's personal auto policy on a hired auto physical damage limit. The hired auto physical damage limit is up to $100,000. Doesn't stop there though. We've got another coverage as well too that I want to highlight. The hybrid payment coverage. If a non-hybrid auto is in a total loss and if replaced by a hybrid auto, the Hartford will pay an additional 10% of the actual cash value up to a maximum of $2,500. The damaged vehicle must be replaced within 60 days to qualify for the hybrid payment. Again, this is just 4 of the 19 coverages that we automatically include in our broad form. Along with innovative coverages, we also offer safety feature discounts that are available at the vehicle level for private passenger vehicles and light trucks. So research indicates that vehicles with certain features tend to have fewer or lower losses. Vehicles with, electronic stability control, anti-lock brakes, or anti-theft active alarm will receive a discount. No need to provide that information to Stuckey, as those discounts are automatically applied to the correct vehicles based on the year, make, and model. Now here's another great discount that we offer. 5% off each vehicle for telematics devices. The Hartford offers a 5% discount for each vehicle that utilizes telematics device. But what is a telematics device? Not everybody knows what this is. Telematics is a means of monitoring driving behavior or a vehicle tracking system through a device that's plugged into the port of your car or truck. Examples include GPS and fleet management devices. It's often used as well for scheduling and tracking drivers to maximize their efficiency. Think of distributors and wholesalers. So to be clear, we're not providing the device, nor do we expect the customer to send any data to us. This discount is for customers who are already using this as part of their business operations. It's one of the very unique discounts that we offer, and I think we're one of the only carriers that actually offers this unique discount. Again, 5% off for telematics devices. Now let's talk about losses and claims for a moment. We have changed what counts as a loss. Glass claims, towing claims, not at fault claims, or claims less than $1,000 incurred don't count. So when providing information on claims for a small commercial auto account, you'll still want to provide Stuckey with the claims history, but this just allows us to look at the claims from an eligibility stance, but they will not be included as a rating factor. Great way to be more competitive in the marketplace. Not only do we not count smaller claims, but our auto product also includes accident forgiveness feature, which recognizes customers for good behavior over time. So how does it work? Well, once a customer is with us for 3 years claim-free, that first accident after that will not change their premium. So we're not going to surcharge them at renewal. Also keep in mind that once they have that first accident, the clock kind of resets. And when that customer has been with us another 3 years accident-free, they'll qualify again. So we went over a lot of information in a short amount of time. So really start to think about your existing book of business and where it would be a fit to quote small commercial auto with the Hartford. Also think about, the opportunity to cross-sell with your existing BOP or workers' comp business that you may already have with us through Stuckey. And of course, when you add it as that total account solution, we're also going to provide that multi-policy discount as well. But keep in mind, if you do need a monoline auto, we're there for you for that as well too. I appreciate your guys' time today. We're going to open it back up for questions.
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, we have quite a few questions coming in. The first one was, can we write specialized equipment and or tow trucks in New York City, and the specific area is Queens?
So in response to that, we are not a market for tow trucks. If you have, to Michelle's point, private passenger, light trucks, medium trucks, and even some heavy trucks and extra heavy trucks, we can do those, but no tow trucks and no dump trucks. Dump trucks we can do only for the landscaping class code.
That was actually one of the other questions about dump trucks. Another question is there a charge for the loan gap coverage?
No, there's not a charge that's built into our auto broad form. So loan gap and lease gap coverage, those are automatically built in as part of the 19 coverages that we provide within our policy form. A lot of other carriers, if they offer this coverage, it's as an endorsement and there is a charge associated with it, not with the Hartford.
Yeah, I mean, so the 5 or 10% charge is waived, I guess, because it's included.
Right.
Yeah, just automatic, no cost. It's great.
So there's a question about, let's see, does the business auto include coverage for a farm?
Some policy forms may include coverage for a farm. Under the Hartford's business auto policy, our intention is not to cover farms. We are not a market for agricultural exposures, even from an auto perspective.
Okay. Are drivers' MVRs a factor in rating an account?
Yes, they are. At the Hartford, a driver's MVR and the driver's experience are probably two of the bigger components in our underwriting of an account. We look at what their experience has been like on their MVR and the experience that they've had and how many years they've been driving. So those are two big components when we're underwriting an auto risk. It's a pun, but we say it's driver driven. So if you've got really good drivers with good experience, it'll be better pricing. If you have a youthful exposure and maybe some activity on the MVRs, we can still quote those, but they're probably going to be more expensive.
You know, I have gotten a ton of phone calls about Uber. And I took a ton of Ubers while traveling to Chicago this weekend with the family for spring break. So we are not a market for livery risks. And do you know if they carry their own coverage, or can we do GL for those guys, or what can we do anything for the Uber guys?
Not at this point. Hartford's not a market for any type of transporting individuals or people at this point. We specifically do not want that exposure.
Right. You know, I read an article. I think they break their coverage down in between a couple of different types of coverage when they're on duty and off. That'll be an interesting to see how that market matures and stuff.
I agree.
Can we do Florida risks, and I guess monoline Florida auto?
We can. We are open for auto risks in Florida. There could be some potential state-specific guidelines that are in place there, but we like auto, and Florida's open for monoline auto.
Right on. So no property,
right.
But we can do the monoline auto.
Right.
Can we provide an insurance stamp from Massachusetts agents? And honestly, I've never been asked that question. Have you been asked?
I haven't been asked it either, but I can definitely find out.
So we will follow up with that question. Commercial auto in Wisconsin.
Yep, we're open to write auto in Wisconsin. It's a targeted state for us.
Okay, and let's see here. Will Hartford write MSC 90 Department of Transportation filings? I'd have to think that's probably trucking.
Right. Typically, if there are filings associated with a fleet of vehicles, we're typically not going to be a market because, to Dwight's point, they're usually hauling something or somehow involved with trucking, which would then make it ineligible for us.
Right. Can you write the oil and gas class of the business, mostly all PUs?
Unfortunately, we're not a market for hauling oil and gas either for auto. But having said that, while Dwight's scrolling through some of the other questions, I will say that auto has our broadest footprint as far as the classes that we can do for auto. We can do some things in auto that we can't do the other lines on. As an example, in contracting, we've done auto for some roofing contractors, but we can't touch the general liability or work comp. We don't want those, but we could do the auto. So I would say, especially if you have light trucks or PPT type vehicles, certainly run those through Stuckey and Company to see if we could have an appetite for whatever class that is.
Right, and to kind of follow up with that, if Hartford declines some of those classes on the property and GL, we have a surplus lines market that might write that and can do monoline with Hartford for the auto. Is there a mileage limit on your commercial auto?
We typically do not like long haul. And again, when you get into like long haul, you're looking at heavy trucks and extra heavy vehicles typically. Each of those would be individually written based on their characteristics. But if you're getting into overnight hauling, that's going to be very difficult for us to write. If you have local transportation of their own products, we're much more likely to look at those. But when you start looking at long distances, it's typically not their own product that they're hauling either. So we'll look at those on an individual basis, but as a general rule, when you start doing overnights, it's typically not something we can do.
You offer a blanket additional insured endorsement.
So
for the auto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So on our auto, we actually have an expanded who is an insured, so that it covers employees as well as the named insured on the policy. And for contractors, that helps to make them contract compliant. Oftentimes, a contractor will sign an agreement saying that they will include someone as an additional insured on all of their casualty lines of business. Technically, it doesn't really give them any coverage on the auto, but we do have that wording within our form, within our broad form, so that we're helping to make contractors compliant.
Okay, that's great. That's
yeah.
Awesome. International driver's license.
That's a good question. I'll take that back to Kelly as well. Michelle, have you heard anything on international driver's licenses?
I don't think we can do it, but I think we should probably just confirm with Kelly.
Great, will do.
So we have a couple of states, and just a couple more questions. Sure. I think we'll end it. But there's a few state questions. Do you write business in Louisiana? I know that you write commercial auto in Louisiana.
Yes.
Louisiana has, the rates seem to be extremely expensive. Mm-hmm. But honestly, the feedback that we've gotten from our agents is that all of the carriers' rates are expensive. So, you know, right. I guess we're competitive. The state of Oregon, I guess could be the last question. Can you add coverage for auto registered in a personal owner's name to a business owner's policy?
So I can answer that question, and it's not just a yes or no. So if the vehicle type is a private passenger type vehicle, and it's less than 5 vehicles, it has to be licensed, and it has to be licensed in the business name. If it's less than 5 vehicles and it is licensed in an individual's name and it's a PPT type of schedule, private passenger type schedule, we would not be able to do that on a commercial policy for private passenger type vehicles. If, on the other hand, you have any form of a truck, a light truck or a medium truck, and that is licensed in an individual's name, we can do that on a commercial policy. And the reason we do that is because we realize that contractors will sometimes buy a light truck in their own individual name, not have it licensed in the commercial entity's name, but that's still tied to their commercial business, and that's what they use it for primarily, is the commercial business. So again, we would underwrite each of those specifically, but the general rule is that if it's a private passenger type vehicle and non-fleet, meaning less than 5 vehicles, it needs to be licensed in the name of the entity.
Right, and you can go up to 25.
Up to 25, yeah.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate it. We have a ton of questions that we did not get to, but I promise I will get to them either by email, or a few of you I see or you have multiple questions, so I'll just give you a ring. And if we can't answer it there, we can answer it. I'll get it answered by lead underwriters. So again, thank you for attending the Hartford Commercial Auto webinar hosted by Stuckey and Company. I'd like to thank Tracy and Michelle for presenting and making themselves available.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michelle.